Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Hang on one second and let me mute YouTube so I don't get a echo. There we go. Welcome to the channel. I don't know where you're at in the country or the world, but here in South Central North Carolina, it is a rainy, gloomy, yucky day. It sucks, but I can't complain because it's been absolutely gorgeous for the last month. So it is what it is. You know, gotta have water. All right, let's see what we got in here today. Let's see. Tamara Reynolds. Hello, Sherry Leach. Tammy C. Welcome. Off the wall prepper. What's going on, brother? Debbie Sims. Sherry. Lisa Perry. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Tiger. What's going on? House. Hello. Susanna. How you doing? All right. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Didn't get a whole lot accomplished. Sometimes when you have all this stuff on your mind that you want to get done, and like when you go to bed you've got this list in your head that you're going to get done the next day, and you're so jacked up and motivated, and then you get like a shitty night's sleep and you wake up with zero energy. Yeah, it was one of them days. It was one of them days where just giving a shit took too much energy, so you got to do what you got to do. Robert Trull, welcome. Georgia Peach, hello. Lady Hammer, Bug, what's going on? Yeah, so it was one of them days, but what the heck, I get to come hang out with you guys, so there's always a positive. So today I just kind of wanted to chat about this whole supply chain issue. And I know it's like beating a dead horse. Everybody's doing videos on it. It's all out in mainstream media now, even though they denied it for the last year or so. But I just kind of wanted to look at it from a rational, logical 1 + 1 = 2 kind of view on it. Because in my personal opinion, I think it's all, and excuse my language, horseshit. Um, I worked freight for many years, loading and unloading trucks, many, many years. And there's one immutable fact to anybody that's worked freight, and I'm talking about loading and unloading containers, trucks, or ships, boats. It's harder and it takes more time to load the freight than it does to unload the freight. All right. That being your baseline, tell me why we have ships just sitting off anchor. Somebody had to load them. And so the thing is, it would have to be, at least in my mind, a staged event, or the machine isn't broken. Somebody's just not doing their job, and they're not doing their job intentionally. Be charming, Roots. What's going on? Ghetto, what's up? So here's my take on it. There is no, the only issue with the supply chain is somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. Think back, 2 years ago when they locked the world down. The machine, as I like to call it, whatever's running this entire planet, the machine uh, told us all to stay home, spent crazy amounts of money on advertisements and commercials, telling everybody to order online, buy all your stuff online. We'll bring it to your house. I mean, yet now you got car vending machines where you buy your car online and they deliver it to your house wearing a mask, the whole 9 yards. I mean, every single restaurant on the planet, if they remained open through all this, they were delivering to you. I mean, you could literally get everything delivered to your house. Pretty much everything you wanted could be delivered to your house. So ordering online was pushed by the machine. That's, you got to order online, order. Well, now it's our fault. According to mainstream media, who denied there was a problem with the supply chain. Now, every single excuse that they give, what's up, Mark Bottoms? Every single excuse that they give for the supply chain issues, it's our fault. They're connecting us to the issue, and they're taking absolutely no blame for it. They're not taking any responsibility for it, and it's horseshit. I mean, think about it. You force people, you implant it in their brain to Amazon, Walmart.com, order everything and have it delivered to your house. Then you blame the supply chain issues on the consumers. Well, you people are buying too much. You told us to. I mean, you literally, that was your message to the world. Stay home, keep your doors locked, we'll deliver it to your house. You know, wave a UV lamp across it, make sure all the bugs and germs are gone and bring it on into your house. I mean, so how's that our problem? I mean, how is it you pump all this fiat currency into the economy or into our pockets to boost the economy? It's like, here's another $1,200. Go on Amazon.com, buy some random shit that you don't need. It's all good. We got to keep the economy going. Now, because people did exactly what you told them to do, the supply chain is breaking down, and it's our fault. You know, nobody in government, nobody in the machine that works on the machine or that works in the machine is even taking any responsibility for this whatsoever. Not one single bit. And what's their excuse? Oh, supply and demand. People are buying too much. People are ordering too much. They programmed it into your brain to expect a dark winter. They programmed it into your brain to expect not to get your kids all these fancy toys that you're supposed to buy them every year to keep the economy afloat. You know, but it's our fault because we're ordering too much. Klingon princess, what's going on? It's it doesn't make any sense. I mean, 1 plus 1 does not equal 7. I mean, I don't see it. I mean, Common Core math does some pretty weird shit, but I don't think it works on in this equation. Because if your answer to the problem is to order everything online, and then you get mad because people are ordering everything online, and you're saying that we broke the system, well, I don't see it that way. And now you got issues with all the boats floating offshore, and you're looking at the news and you're seeing these container ships with these, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of product sitting offshore, just, sitting at anchor, floating in the harbors, unable to be unloaded. Well, why are they unable to be unloaded? Because the people aren't unloading anymore, or are they selectively unloading a certain amount per day? Are they not letting trucks in California? If you're saying there's a trucker shortage, well, unless aliens came down and like kidnapped all the truckers, why is there a shortage? There's not a shortage of truckers. There's a shortage of the way you people are organizing, getting the products out to the consumers. And Biden's answer is, well, we're going to run the ports 24 hours a day. They should have been doing that a long time ago. I mean, we're in a worldwide pandemic and people got to eat. So why is it some brilliant political move where we're just going to do the ports 24 hours a day? Well, Taco Bell's been doing that for years. Walmart's been doing that for years. Why is that some unconventional, brand new idea to keep the machine working? We've been in lockdown for a year and a half. Why haven't they always been going at 24/7? Those are jobs. People can make money. What's going on? And that goes back to somebody on the other side of the pond is loading these containers, and it's harder to load than it is to unload. If it takes twice as long to fill it up as it does to empty it out, have a whole big parking lot the size of Texas full of empty containers waiting to be loaded because it takes longer to load than it does to unload. That's common sense. Why is nobody talking about that? Why is nobody looking at that and calling bullshit? Those containers are left sitting off coast on purpose. They're making money on it. All right. They're making money on it. When a container comes in and they offload it from the ship, it goes to a holding area. And that holding area is owned by the dock. And you get X amount of days that it gets to sit there for free until you get your stuff shipped to where it's supposed to get shipped to. After day 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, then they charge you rent for that thing to sit there every single day. Imagine how much money they're making on those containers that are sitting in those fields. They're making a shitload. I mean, they're getting paid they are literally making more money off the product by not unloading it. And if it's food, letting it go rotten, I mean, it's just a loss. So there is no issues with the supply chain, not on our end. But every single excuse they put out is, well, supply and demand. People are buying too much. And let me go ahead and throw a nugget out there for you guys, okay? I'm going to predict something in the future. I'm going to predict it right now. Today's date, 28 October, 2021. Ghost is sitting here telling you, when they tell you that the reason that we have a supply chain issue and people might starve this winter is because people are ordering too much. That is a precursor to saying that people are hoarding. Okay, this is where the word hoarding is going to come into play in the media here in the next few weeks to a month or so, when they really do realize that there is a shortage and the food's not getting where they want it to go. Then all of a sudden it's going to be whose fault? Yes, of course, ours, because it's always our fault. It's going to be the hoarders. People are hoarding. And then there's going to be all kinds of mandates coming down the pipeline after that. I promise you. They're going to bring the hoarding to the forefront. They're going to lay the blame on us or a certain sector of us that we're the problem. We're buying too much and we're hoarding it and we're saving it. And it's unfair to our neighbors how we're just hoarders, hoarders, hoarders. And hoarders is a bad thing. Just like they made up the word preppers and turned prepper into a conspiracy theory, alien, tinfoil hat wearing group of people when prepping is the only reason that we are here this day. I mean, if our ancestors didn't prep, if they didn't grow crops, if they didn't store food, long-term storage to make it through the winter, to be alive the next spring to make more babies, we wouldn't be here. All right. So by inventing a word and putting it, making it sort of taboo, they love to pass the buck. If you can assess blame or responsibility on someone when it isn't true, excuse me, that carries over. It goes a long way. Think about it. If you're married, okay, you've been married for say 5 or 10 years, and even if you've been married 6 months, and your wife gets pregnant, we automatically assume that's your child. What if it isn't? See where I'm going with this? All right. So if you assess responsibility to somebody for something that isn't their fault, like saying it's the consumer's fault for the supply chain shortage because we're buying too much. If your wife gets pregnant and you guys are married, you're responsible for that kid, whether it's yours or not. And then say you find out that it isn't yours. It still doesn't matter. You probably develop feelings for it. Now you're mentally and emotionally attached to this issue, just like we are with the supply chain. It's ridiculous, and I just got to call bullshit on it. Native, what's going on? Let me see if I've missed any questions here. Sorry, you guys, I was on a roll. North Shore, what's going on, Sean? Yeah, man. Absolutely. I will definitely drop the link here shortly. I want to answer a couple of questions, see if anybody's, because I've done a little bit of research into it. And here's the thing. I mean, yes, if the economy's shut down and people aren't working, there's not going to be products to put in the containers to ship around the world. Well, if that's true, why are these ships sitting offshore full of shit if nobody was at work to make stuff and send it out? And all these reasons that they're pumping things into the equation, it's a manufactured issue right now. The supply chain is a manufactured issue, and people say, "Oh, nobody wants to go to work because the government's sending them money." Well, I'm gonna call bullshit on that, okay? Because people that like to work, people that go out and do things with their hands, whether they be carpenters or truckers or anything else, you're gonna get really, really bored really, really quick sitting at home. I know I did. People want to work, okay? Now, granted, if you have a job that pays you less than what the government's giving you, you're so blind that you think they're never going to stop sending you those checks, then yeah, I guess mathematically it makes sense to stay home and sit on a paid vacation for a while. But the numbers just don't add up, people. It's not a this shortage. I mean, it is real. It does exist. Don't get me wrong, but it's manufactured. It is a manufactured issue right now, and nobody will convince me otherwise. There's just yeah, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Virginia says, Ghost, what's the end game? Make goods so expensive we can't afford them, jobs control. I think the end game is control. I mean, if you take a snapshot of your life, your daily life, and everything in it, and how you exist right now, and you could hit a rewind button and go back exactly 2 years and take a snapshot on the exact same day, same time of the year, same season, and look at your life then versus life now through the eyes of the past, you would shake your head and say, there's no freaking way that's the way America is going to be in 2 years. There's no way we're going to be living under some, these draconian mandates. I mean, it's like the 1940s, in that European country years ago. There's no way that's going to be America. Look at it now. And now you've got fully half the population angry at the other half of the population because you don't agree with certain things. and you're turning, it's the new race war, but it's not race. Okay, they did the black and white thing. It pretty much played itself out because they can only shove so much crap up your, they can only blow so much smoke up your skirt until you're going to get tired of the breeze. So the whole black white thing is kind of played out for now. They might come back to it later. You know, the BLM, Antifa, whatever. It's kind of played out. So now they got a new one. Now they're taking color out of the equation and they're making it about something else. And people are legitimately getting in fights in the street and over a personal choice about your health. you know, and it's all if you want to destabilize a government and take control, the easiest way to do that is you go in there and you start as much random shit with random people as you possibly can, and you get black against white, you get tall against short, you get fat against skinny, just make up a reason for people to argue and just watch what happens. And that's what's going on here. End game is to get people used to bowing down and I guess I could kind of equate this a little bit to basic training. I mean, when you go to basic training, when you get off the bus or the plane, everybody, you're kind of worried about what it's going to be like, but you watch movies and TVs and you've talked to your relatives that were veterans and this and that and the other. So you're thinking, oh, I know what to expect with basic training, but you really don't. When you get there, at least, when I went through back in the 80s, it was a whole lot different than it is now. I mean, when I went through back then, it was a tail end of when they could still kind of sort of whip your ass if they didn't get caught kind of thing. But they basically beat you down and take everything from you. They take your clothes. The only way you eat is if they feed you. The only way you drink is if they let you drink. The only way you sleep is if they let you sleep. They completely take every single thing away from you and then give you one little thing back. And I distinctly remember several weeks into basic, maybe 4 or 5 weeks into basic, we're doing I can't remember what we're doing. Oh, it was Sunday. We're coming back from church. The drill sergeant actually let us go by the PX and let everybody get a soda. That's the stupidest thing in the world to be thankful for. But let me tell you something. When you hadn't seen, heard, or smelled one in a month, and you've been getting your brains beat in basically, and you've been getting beat down and beat down and beat down, and they give you a soda, you want to talk about happy? Oh my God, it was insane. Take everything away and give a little bit back and make you appreciate that little bit. Now imagine, put that in context to what we're dealing with right now in the country and in the world for that sake. They're taking everything away, everything, and then just give you a little bit back, give you a little bit back, give you a little bit back at a time and make you thankful for it. They're literally going to make people in America say thank you and bow down for nuggets, for nothing. They're going to make people say thank you for stripping you of their rights. It's happening right now. It's happening all over the place, and people don't even realize it. They're too busy. They're too plugged into the black screen, and they're too plugged into the VR, and they're waiting to see what Elon Musk is going to do next, what Bill Gates is going to do next. They're all praying that the devil, Facebook, is going to survive, and Facebook's going to save the world. And look, I tell you what, right now is an embarrassing time to be a human being. It really is. I mean, and I'll go back to the alien analogy. That's the reason why aliens haven't invaded right now. They pulled up, probably in orbit around the moon somewhere, had their sensors going on, maybe sent down a few people, a few aliens to check it out, and they come back and said, these people they're out of their freaking mind. We're not stopping here. So they're going to find another planet. That's why we haven't been invaded. They don't want anything to do with our crazy asses. That happened to us once. We had sugar in 2 months. But yeah, exactly, native. And I did, man. Like I killed that soda as quick as possible, and then I was legit like the sugar rush was and the caffeine rush was so intense. I had a headache like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I literally felt like I got my butt whooped from a can of soda. But I'm here to tell you, I was so excited and so happy to get a soda. It was like I won the lottery. It was nuts. I'll go ahead and drop the link down here if anybody wants to come up here and chit chat for a while. Hey Lynn, how you doing? Stone Girl, what's going on? And the internet is starting to act weird. I was watching Survival Living, and apparently we got hit with like 3 different CME types today, so it's been, depending on where you're at, your internet's getting kind of hinky. What's up, Guardian? Hang on, let me go ahead and post this thing or pin it to the top so I don't have to keep posting it. There we go. Just now figuring out how all these buttons work. I know, right, Native? The drill sergeants were laughing their ass off because they do it every cycle. They know what's going to happen, and man, the DIs, they have their own little personal comedy club going on every single cycle of basic training because they do the same stuff over and over, and they know what's going to happen. All right, Georgia Peach, thanks for stopping in. Okay, make sure I didn't miss any questions. Hello, Gemma. Constitutional Carpenter. Hey, Milkmaid. Yeah. I mean, they literally turned the country into a bunch of toilet paper, like groupies. I mean, toilet paper, you would have thought that there was like, it was made out of $100 bills or something. It was insane. And I think I've told this story before, but I was in line at the store when all this was going down, and there was a guy in front of me, and the only thing he had in his shopping cart was toilet paper. And I wish I'd have counted the cases. I mean, it was at least 7 or 8 cases of toilet paper because he was literally having to hold the cases of toilet paper because they were going to fall out of the buggy. That's how high he had it stacked. And I asked him, and I looked at him, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, man, you got like a year's worth of toilet paper there. He goes, yeah. I said, let me ask you a question. He goes, what? I said, do you have a year's worth of food put up? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, do you have a year's worth of food at home right now, put away, ready to eat? He goes, no. I'm like, then don't you think you're kind of defeating the purpose? I mean, if you're not putting anything in, if nothing's going in, nothing's coming out. You know, he looked at me like I was stupid, but that's fine. Who's coming up to see us today? What's going on, brother? Hang in there, man. Hang in there.
Good to see you. How you enjoying your the Daily Nugget?
It's going pretty good, man. I mean, this is week 2, almost in the books. It's kind of fun. It's kind of hitting its stride. You know, I was kind of just trying to figure out what it was going to be about, if it was going to have definite topics and stuff, or if it, you know, and instead of dedicating the entire show to like one topic, you know, I'll come out and just kind of splurt some stuff and then just let everybody else get up here and give their opinion on it. It's kind of like a free for all. I guess we should just call this hanging out at the water cooler. You know, but because with all the disinformation, I mean, they pretty much trained us to lie to ourselves and accept it.
Well, you see, the thing about it is I think it's a cool idea is because as fast as we're getting the information, it's changing daily, sometimes multiple times daily, right? Mm-hmm. You know, yourself, former service member, how quickly information can change, right? So, you know, we used to have what's called a microfiche. We would look on it on this little machine, and that's how we would file certain information, right? And sometimes we would change those daily or double daily. That's how quick the information was changing, right? But I think it's a neat idea because the information does change that quick.
Well, people miss the people get confused about the terminology. Information is not intel. Okay, North Shore and I can sit up here and talk about, you know, why spiders have 8 legs instead of 7, and we can both have our own simple opinions. And all we're doing is sharing information. We're not giving you any facts other than the simple fact that the number of legs that a spider has is 8. You know, there's a difference in intel and information. And several years ago, when there was a court case and they upheld the simple fact and made a statement, and I wish I could find that article, where news companies, and I mean newspapers or television, cable, CNNs, they are not required to tell you the truth. That was an actual court case. They are under absolutely no obligation to be honest and tell you the truth about anything. And that's right along the lines where they stopped printing retractions in the newspaper. If any of you are old enough to understand, that's when they put out incorrect information, whether on purpose or on accident. They were legally required to print a retraction. They don't have to do that anymore.
Well, I only find they do retractions if they get called on it, or if somebody's butt hurt or wants to sue them about it.
Right. And so now, I mean, they've already upheld the statement that, police officers are not required to protect you. They don't, that's not their job. Even though it says to protect and serve on the side of the car, they are not legally bound. They are technically, even though they swear an oath to serve and protect, they are not legally bound to do that. They don't have to do that.
No, it's the same, kind of on the same level as if if a cop starts asking you questions. Now, okay, guys and gals, don't go ahead and start thinking I'm anti-cop, because I'm not anti-cop. What I'm anti is anti-bad cop and anti-stupid policy, right? Stupid decisions. But it's just like when a cop, first of all, doesn't identify themselves to you, nor state their business, and just start in asking you questions. Well, if you're doing some kind of investigation, I'm in no way legally obliged to help you with your investigation. Right? You're going to ask me a questions, whatever. Lawyer present. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the entire system is broke. What's up, Ghetto?
What's up, brother? Good evening, North Shore.
How you doing, Ghetto? Good to see you.
Thank you. Honored to be on a live stream with you. Been wanting to get up on one with you. Not Ghost. I'm just using him as a, middle guy. Yeah. I just want to see you. That's all.
Hey, it's his panel, man.
I'm just a facilitator. I'm just a facilitator.
It's his panel. I'm just some guy.
I gotta say, yeah. Ghost, I love your points that you made on this subject, man. I really do. Like I was kind of screaming a little bit, like a schoolgirl, just like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let me up there, man. I love this conversation.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, there's a reason nobody on the planet, no living creature, and I'm talking sentient, I'm talking ants, spiders, birds, monkeys, whatever. No living creature on the planet does anything without being motivated and without having a reason and an end game in sight.
Yep.
So when I look at a crazy situation that nobody has the answer to, I just start thinking about, well, what could the possible end game be? And then I work myself backwards.
Can I give my take on that, brother? It might go a little far, but the way I see it, and is my 5x5 okay? Because I know sometimes I'm loud, sometimes I'm not. My daughter's headphones are like expensive, so they work pretty good. All right. So in game, and I'm going to work back as well. So in game, what I see Trump having a huge social media platform. And also remember, everybody, social media is the most profitable company in mankind's history. There's something to be really said about that. So he's going to have his own, right? Facebook just said today they're changing their name to Meta, and they're moving into the meta universe or metaverse. What that means is if anybody's ever watched, let's say, Upload or anything like that, they're turning their platform into virtual reality. So this goes along the lines with all the supply chains, and that's why I said I think they're testing it, because I think they're getting ready to have at least half the population sitting at their houses and living their life through virtual reality. I mean, it's got the most, you guys know how big Facebook and all these social media platforms, there's billions. I mean, they got billions. So the way I see it, and that goes along the lines with, all the shortages, they're just testing the system as a whole to see what they're able to get away with, what they're able to, it's all manufactured. I mean, as we can all see it. So in game would be, and the reason I bring Trump up because his social media platform is going to be, what is it? Truth Social, right? And it's not an attack against him. I've always seen him as a businessman. That'd be the smartest business move to do, is go to where it's the most profitable, So you have all the woke people or whatever you want to call us that refuses to jump into virtual reality, still want to just live the way we're living. And then you got this whole entire other side of the population in a virtual reality. Now they're able to appease all the people that are staying home because they've been conditioning us for that. They've been trying their asses off. Now you got all the people that can stay home and live through virtual reality, buy all their stuff. And then you got all the pissed off people over here. And now they have one platform for each side of the division. So it goes beyond the racial bounds of dividing us, beyond all these other bounds that they've tried to keep dividing us. And now it's in more of a technological era. If I'm saying, I think I articulated all those right. I had a big old email to write you after I watched that Facebook thing. But I think the other goal is, because I talked to all my friends around here, and yes, most of them Democrats. To me, I don't care. I just like to see people's point of view. Everybody's against mainstream media, and I think also the goal is to knock out mainstream media and only have two sides. You know what I mean? So mainstream media, everybody's against it. We're all going to agree on that. But the goal is to keep us, you know what I mean, separated out. So I think I got it out. Thank you for letting me speak my piece.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Ghetto. Kind of what you're talking about that virtual reality thing too. I noticed today in Biden's speech, I don't know who all caught it or whoever got to see it, and if you caught this, but he said that he was talking about there's no need for mothers to be having to drive their kids to McDonald's for free internet to do their virtual online school.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, and it kind of caught me, and I was like, well, so are basically you're planning for everybody to start going virtual.
Yeah, in my state they did that when I signed my kids up for at home school. They said the brick and mortar schools were telling us, well, we don't have the system in place because there was a lot of problems last year doing it. Next year we're guaranteeing that next year we will have it in place, and most brick and mortar schools across the country are doing the same, which had me concerned and happy at the same time. Like, wait a minute, you already know this stuff's going to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got another radical prediction for you. This might make people go, "What?" Check this out. Here's my other radical prediction. The internet is going to be free.
Oh yeah.
It will cost you. They're going to make sure that lifeline, that ability to get in your brain and get in your children's brains and affect the way you think, they're going to make sure you have access to it 24/7. It'll be free.
Well, and to go a little further with that, they're talking about, because I mean we're getting fiber optic here, like we're in the middle of, I mean we hardly even get any internet, up to this date. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm on the phone company. I'm on a phone line internet right now. And but when I was doing the phone company's properties, I actually run into the engineer, and because he come over, he's like, "Man, I ain't blocking you." And I'm like, "No, it's all good," and we got to talking, and that's what he's doing is he's setting up these areas to they're bringing in the fiber optic. And so, to go further with what you said, they're plugging in, the fiber optic plugs in, they're wanting to plug it into your house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's so that you got a direct plug in to every house. And kind of makes me wonder what would happen if they do the free internet, since they're so good at doing mandates. What if they mandate that you can't turn off your internet?
Well, I mean, technically, it's not up to you to turn it off. It can always be on in your house. That's it. That's it.
Well, I'm saying, like if I went outside and unplugged it, you know what I'm saying, from the house.
It'll do that. It'll be just like your power and your water. You can't touch
there you go.
That's
yeah.
fine. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Backwoods. Oh, sorry, Ghost.
Go ahead.
You were kind of cutting out, and I didn't hear you were saying something.
Go ahead.
They already have that backwoods. What they're putting in for you guys, those are mainstream in the cities. Like, it's already pluggable. They all they did was take the cable coax cable that you do for your original cable box back in the day, or your antenna, however you want to put it. All that goes through the internet goes through all those cables, and they have been for maybe 20 years now, 15 years at least.
Yeah.
So you guys are just now starting to get it. I got family deeper into the woods that are just now starting to get it. Once they got everybody connected, we're fucked. Just like the reason why Facebook, it's free to sign in, it's free to participate, but yet we make trillions of dollars a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
We're
just
all
think about it.
users.
You had the option to put Facebook on your phone, years ago. You had the option to download it and put it on your phone. Now, your phones come with it already on there. So you've already got a backdoor into your entire operating system on your phone, and you can't disable it.
Oh.
I heard that if you sign up for Facebook, you can never leave. It's like one of those Hotel California things.
Yeah, it is.
Even when you shut your page down, they still don't disconnect it. It's still there.
No, you're still there, being traced by them and whatever else. But
yeah,
I want to go ahead and support.
I can verify
what y'all
that.
are saying. About complete and free internet for everyone. And I mean, you got to think about it. Like it goes out on the airwaves, right? It's going through the air all the time, all of it, right? So why shouldn't it be free for everyone? Just like if you go back into history, and not that far back into history, if you think about Nikola Tesla, and he had the idea that electricity could be free for everyone. Of course, he was snuffed, and all of his information was suppressed. But because of this.
Yeah, Sherry, you can delete all your friends and then deactivate, but here's the thing, it doesn't work. It's deactivated on your end to where you don't see stuff. It's still hooked up and it's still rolling and it's still collecting information.
Let me tell you,
it's like turning off your phone. It's not going to work. You got to take the battery completely out.
I freaking deleted my Facebook and turned it, did all the stuff, went through all the, because it asked you, are you sure you want to do this, and yes, I'm positive. And I still get notifications for friend request.
Yeah.
And I go on there and my Facebook is still there.
Oh yeah. You just don't, basically all you did was close the blinds on your window. It's still, it's still raining outside. The sun's still shining. I mean, you just can't see it. You're in. And Ghetto said something that I brought up a few weeks ago when he said about taking the battery out of your phone. That's the reason they redesigned the phones a few years back. Because a few years back, you could take the battery out. A few years back, like when I had 2 or 3 extra batteries for my phone when I was always on the road. So I always, I could just switch batteries out.
Yeah.
But now they manufacture phones where you can't take the battery out. If you do, it voids the warranty, breaks the phone, the whole 9 yards. That way just because you power it down, your phone's not off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell you, your phone is not off when you power it down. You can turn it off all you want to. It's still on. It is still on. It is still drawing power. That's why even when you turn it off, if you turn it back on, a week later, your battery's been drained a little bit. And back in the day, you could take your battery out. You're thinking you're defeating GPS. That phone has an internal battery built into it to where it can still receive signals so they can ping your phone without your battery being in it for, I think, a period of up to 24 hours. But your phones are seriously high tech and you can't turn them off.
Have y'all heard about the state of emergency?
What state of emergency?
The national emergency.
No.
You mean the EMPs that are going on, or the CMEs?
CMEs, no.
They're about a year and a half late.
Y'all too. Well, probably don't have much to worry about. I don't know. I guess you got nieces and nephews and grandchildrens and stuff or whatever. But health agencies call for national state of emergency in children's mental health. Now listen. 3 national health organizations say children are facing mental health crisis, and they are calling on lawmakers at every level to take action. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, and the Children's Hospital Association are all declaring a state of emergency in children's mental health. These national agencies say the toll of the pandemic is really weighing on kids and causing higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide. There's the way into your home right there.
The way into your home, that's the way to take control of your kids.
Mm-hmm. That's because parents are fucking idiots.
That right
Excuse
there.
me, parents out there, but parents are idiots.
they do a state of emergency, man, and they're calling on, you know, I mean, these are big freaking, you know, um, child health, you know, and child
Yeah, yeah,
care, you know, agencies, and they're calling for every
yeah.
lawmaker at every level to take action.
And because that's their main goal. That's who they have been cultivating since they brought us the black mirrors. That's why a
Control each
2-year-old, yeah, that because a 2-year-old can stay engaged with something all shiny and cartoony in his face all the way up into adolescence, boom, into teenagehood. Virtual reality, yeah, I'll join that one. Okay, go ahead and dictate everything. And then you got parents having
People
no
wonder if it
problem
works.
sending their kids to school and letting them go through these fucking regime changes. Sorry, Ghost. And letting them
You're
follow
fine.
all these fucking orders that they're given, whether it's a mask or single file line or 10 fucking feet against away from each other. They're creating the chaos so they can come in, clean up, and make sure they have everybody exactly where they want them.
Yeah, I mean, and proof it. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the generation that's in charge right now.
Yeah.
Okay, they were the beta test. They were the beta test. You know, and when you're talking a little bit earlier, I think North Shore said something about, you know, we're talking about the media and them not being required to tell the truth. That was the
Yeah.
first step. The second step is making sure everybody has access to that media, which is going to be free internet. And then the kicker is now you have 24-hour uninterrupted access to the machine. The machine is in control of all the news that you're hearing. They control the narrative. They control the delivery. They control the entire. All of it. All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think of 1984, right? So, you know, it was, I mean, everybody knows what 1984 is. Um, think about it in a virtual reality sense, right? So they get us plugged in, but then they make laws or they make ways to actually connect the shit to our brains to where we can't leave that. That is controlling our thoughts because they're showing, I mean, you don't give mankind the ability to see every fantasy that he's ever thought of. I mean, that's just all bad. I mean, I think every man and woman could agree with that because we have crazy thoughts. Our brains are just, you know what I mean, way super cool but dangerous at the same time. But what better way to control them by having a fucking polygon or whatever word it is, algorithm 3D world that shows you everything you're wanting and
Well,
thinking and all that, and that would be a good way for them to control it. Not a
well,
good way, but
think
you
about
guys
this,
know what I mean.
Ghetto. Think about how they always, you know, talk about, you know, the movies kind of show what's going, you know, the future or
Yeah,
whatever. That, well, take Star Trek for instance. Man, they had the communicator where they just flipped open the flip phone, just flipped it open. It was like do 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 do, and it's like, hey, what's up, you know?
well,
And then, you know,
exactly backwoods. Okay,
they
so that was a fantasy or conspiracy theory when you and I and Ghost were kids, right? That was a
yeah,
well,
fantasy. Now it's reality.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they had the thing where you go over there and press a deal and it pops on your meal. Think about the 3D printing and the things they're already doing this with food. You
yep,
know, and then
Magic meat.
yeah, man, and I mean it's like, you know, think about they had the thing that they could go in and like you were talking about, create your fantasy, you know, and you go in and
mm-hmm,
role play and stuff, and you're like part of
yep,
it, you know,
Well,
and I mean
you
they
talk about
already got stuff
life.
that's sort of like that.
Life imitates art, man. Life imitates art. And when you look
yeah,
at it right now, we are literally we are in the filming process of, you know, the next Matrix movie and the Minority Report rolled into one. Now the Minority Report, that's the scarier of the two movies because that's where they did the pre-crime, that's where they did the, you know, the singing.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the one that I'm worried about. You know what I mean? That's the
how many serial killer fantasies are you going to see in virtual reality? You know what I mean?
exactly
How
right.
many? They're going to know absolutely everything of every. I mean, there's a reason why people like Criminal Minds. I'm not disrespecting people, but I kind of question my wife's motives in life when I see her binge watching a few episodes. I'm like, man, because I mean, it's
So,
entertaining to us, you know, like, but
hey,
it's also
Ghetto,
worrisome.
Yeah. Just think about this, okay? All right. Okay, I'm not a gamer at all. Like not even a little bit. I was way back, but we're talking decades ago. Okay,
that's where I'm still there. I'm decades
when some of the
ago.
first
Yeah.
shit came out. Okay, all right. So if you're gaming, you'll understand what I'm about to say. Okay, just think about the online gaming world itself and how many first-person sniper games there are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an online thing, so that data is always being collected, right? So they already see who fantasizes taking a sniper rifle out and doing whatever, right? They already have that data, and they're collecting it right now as we speak.
And now you take that and you put it in. Now put that into the Google algorithm. I mean, you know how when you do if you ask a question or you Google anything on the net,
target.
Automatically, it's going to hit your phone. It's going to hit your Facebook feed. It's going to hit your YouTube feed instantly. The whole 9 yards. Now take that information. All right, that's not a game anymore. All right, that's a skill tester. Now they're testing your skill, and they'll be able to determine just by looking at the algorithm what Johnny's good at, what Billy's good at, is what this person's good at, what that person's good at, so they can build society. You know,
or what we should worry about Johnny or Billy or Jimmy. You know.
Yeah.
We got to worry about these characters because they're a little too much on the first-person sniper.
If you're going straight, total control by the machine running everything, you're still going to need a military. So who are you going to recruit for the military? You're going to recruit little Johnny that was really good with that automatic weapon. You're going to recruit, that those are the ones. You're not going to have to do basic training to see who's good at what. You're going to know. You're already going to know who's good at that, who's proficient in firearms, who's a good shot, who's not a good shot, just through the games. I mean, right now already. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the U.S. military was using simulators and games and simunitions and VR to train because it was cheaper than expensive ammunition. And I'm here to tell you, I've practiced, I've zeroed, I've went through simulations on these VR type deals. And bro, I'm here to tell you, it's the funnest, most adrenaline high you can have without legitimately being in combat. I mean, it's insanely realistic, and this was 15, 20 years ago. Imagine how good it has to be right now.
And this is kind of where it started, Ghost. This Nintendo is the product of the military gaming systems, the simulations. This is where all of our games, all of everything came out, was a military complex.
People think that Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and the guy from Apple invented the internet. Wrong. The United States military invented the internet. The U.S. military invented the internet, okay? Then they figured a way they can make money on it by marketing it to society. But let me tell you something. If you people think right now, if you think there isn't somebody in a room with a switch that can push a button and the civilian internet is shut down, but the military side still works, you're delusional.
Well, I'll tell you something. As a former military comms guy, and I wasn't your out in a truck in a field somewhere comms guy. I was somewhere underground guy, right? And we had an antenna farm surrounding the station, okay? An antenna farm, all right? I saw the installation of fiber optics happen. And when that took place, we went from having a requirement to have operators such as myself to scan a radio frequency spectrum to find whatever shit is we're looking for. And we went from that one day until it was all hooked up, and then they flipped the switch on it, to our computers. We're gathering the entire radio frequency spectrum at once and sorting it.
Yeah.
So there was a...
Princess has got a good one. Orson Scott Card's book, Ender's Game. If you guys haven't seen that movie, Ender's Game, or read the book, I suggest you do both. Read the book, then watch the movie. But it is an insanely awesome movie, and the book is crazy. That book is actually it's in the military library for leadership schools, especially the United States Marine Corps.
That's interesting, Klingon.
Yeah, and that is a very, very good movie. Very good. That's one of my favorite movies. I love it. I probably watched it 20 times, start to finish.
Hey,
and every time you watch it, you catch something else.
How many of these drone operators, military drone operators out there, do you think are gamers?
My son-in-law's one.
Probably pretty much every one of them.
Yeah, my son-in-law's a drone. My son-in-law flies drones for the U.S. Army. Yeah, he's a big-time gamer, and that's how they get the job. When that's literally a question when you go into I know this for a fact because I was a recruiter for a little while before I got out. I was actually a recruiter's assistant. I didn't go to recruiting school, but I still recruited. But that's actually legitimately, that's one of the questions we ask in the schools when we go to recruit kids from school. So, hey, do you enjoy video games? Are you a gamer? You know, and that you legitimately delve into what they game and how long they've been doing it. And then there's actually tests where you can do mental acuity, IQ type tests with video games. You know, and do you play for hours a night? I'll lock myself in the room for 2 days and play video games, you know, drinking my sodas or whatever. Those are your drone pilots, man. They've already conditioned themselves for those conditions, you know, to stay at the controls for 12 hours, you know, flying a drone. And not the cool part, but the weird part is when you're a drone operator, you're disconnected from the actual act of all you're doing is you're looking through a viewfinder. It's just like playing a video game, just like a flight simulator. So you're disconnected from the act of pushing that red button.
Desensitized,
you know what I mean?
from all of it. Yeah.
So you don't get that psychological kick in the face, you know, and it's getting out of control now. I mean, dude, drones are, man, that's a scary thought.
You know, it's really interesting too. I mean, you got to think, you know, getting back to a bit what Ghetto was saying about, you know, when he held up that old school Nintendo there, and you know, speaking to the effect that, you know, militaries where sort of gaming kind of came from, right? All right. So when all right, you got an old Atari around to show anyone or an Intellivision?
Not right here, but I do. Not right here. I do.
Think about it. Okay. Military's always got technology first, always got the best technology first. And that will always be the case. Okay. So if they had Intellivision for us in 1980 or whenever the hell that came out, okay, so that information, that technology is already 20 years old. Okay, so with the latest technology and the best game and best gaming computer you can go buy right now, it's already 20 years old, man. What do they got? What do they got going on now?
Quantum. Right? They already have that virtual reality system completely built, ready to go for us to just walk right in and fulfill everything.
And here's the crazy thing. All this technology is not necessarily bad if it's voluntary. You know, if it's not used to control people. But the problem is that's not how people in control's brains work. You know, it's another tool, way to completely take over. You know, if it was used for good and only good and it was voluntary, great. But that's not what they're going to do. I mean, legitimately, history has proven that is not what they're going to do. I mean, you watch the superhero movies with great power comes great responsibility. That's all horseshit. With great power comes more power. Nobody with power to do things like that is a good guy. That's why superheroes are fiction, because they don't exist. You get that kind of power, you do some serious shit on the regular. You know, and that's what they're doing.
That's why I think replacing our government ain't going to do shit, because the next people that come in are going to be seduced by power. And they're going to get drunk on it, and they're going to do the same exact shit that these ones done. Well, it doesn't matter.
The problem is that there's no such thing as politicians anymore. There aren't any politicians. There are just mouthpieces for big pharma, big tech. I mean, your super PACs, the people that put that money into place they buy those decisions. That's who's in control. So all you are as a politician is a mouthpiece for whoever's giving you more money than what you're making from the taxpayers. I mean, that's
amen, brother.
Virtually all of MSM is owned by a few people, right?
5 families,
and it's all sponsored by Pfizer or Moderna.
Yeah.
You guys notice how those companies and the actual arm candy Jabberwocky, there's no real commercial about it. Like, there's no commercials about the actual product from them. So they made a law that's why we hear the symptoms, you know, the side effects now, is because they passed the law, you know, taking some whatever drug will, you know, make your booty leak or whatever, right? So they can't but they can't put that actual shut on there because they would have to label the side effects, and that's why we don't see no legit. And that's why they're hitting us with commercials every other which way. Them motherfuckers are trying to force my kids.
I just think it's like somebody took the Matrix, they took Ender's Game, they took Demolition Man, and they took
Terminator,
and they put it in a blender, right? And they put it in a blender and hit blend and chopped it all up, and then they dumped it out into a baking pan and made this really pretty cake, really tasty icing. And it's like if you take a blend of all those movies and put them together, especially Demolition Man and Minority Report, that's what we're doing right now. We're living in that right now.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, if you step back and look at it, that's why I said to go back 2 years. Use your eyes from 2 years ago and look at yourself today, and write yourself a note. It's ridiculous. 3 years ago, you would never think we would be sitting here on the internet having a conversation about this bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, it's really funny because I can drive 5 minutes from my house in any direction, and there's more cows than you can look at. And I just went and bought some stew meat. Now, this was, stew meat is just the leftover chunkings and stuff. Went and bought six. It was $6.95 a pound, $7 a pound, dude. And I mean, like I said, I can drive in any direction 5 minutes, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter which way I go. There's freaking cattle everywhere here.
$7 a pound for what?
For stew meat.
Well, shit, ground beef is $6 a pound here, and that's for the crappy one.
What? Ground beef here is $7 a pound.
That's crazy.
Same prices here, and we live in fucking beef country over here in Oregon.
That's what I'm saying. It's beef country here, man.
Here's the thing, getting back to the supply chain, right? This is America, all right? We're the breadbasket of, like, look, bottom line, everything we need, we can manufacture here. We're almost 2 years into this. Everything we need, we can manufacture. There's no need for any person in the United States of America to go hungry because we have everything to excess here in this country that we need. What we don't have, what we don't manufacture here, we can do a Operation Warp Speed. Let me go ahead and quote that. We can do an Operation Warp Speed and kick that shit into here. I mean, we've got abandoned steel mills everywhere. We've got abandoned factories everywhere. It does not take much to go in there with a little bit of capital and retool stuff and manufacture our own shit right here and not have to worry about these boats that are sitting offshore full of bicycles from China. And I don't. It makes. That's what I'm saying. It's a manufactured crisis. The supply chain collapsing is a manufactured crisis. Now, is it a bad thing if it happens? Absolutely. Is it happening on its own? Hell no. Hell no. Why? Because there's money being made at both ends of that chain, and those greedy bastards want to get paid. So the only reason that they're not getting the stuff unloaded, moved around, is because they're getting subsidized from somewhere else, some other way, or they're not playing ball, or they already knew this was part of the plan.
Well, it is part of the plan. I mean, it's to kick you down to the point to where you're willing to go to work for food. And the Biden administration considering giving $450,000 per person to immigrants separated at the border. Let that sink in. They made us sit home last year, and people lost their businesses, lost their houses, all this stuff. And they gave us, what was it? $2,500, $3,000 total. I don't know.
Not enough to pay my bills.
Yeah, I mean, right.
I got to thinking about that a while back.
They're talking about giving illegals $450,000 per person for being separated.
Do you realize we're the biggest human traffickers on the planet? If you start seeing it in that aspect, instead of seeing them as immigrants, but seeing our government as bringing them over. Because I tell you what, I got family in Mexico, and or just anybody that's a parent, there's no way you're going to send your kid on its way through a desert to cross into another country and let them be. Man, they're going over there and getting them. Regardless of how you want to see it, we're fucking human traffickers, and that's what we are. Point blank. It's fucking gross.
Well, that's
Think about, everybody. People talk about the economy collapsing and we're going to go Venezuela and this and that and the other. And I got to thinking about it in my brain because, like I said, I went to the end game and I try to work myself backwards. Why could they possibly be doing what they're doing? And here's what I come up with. All right. If you take, and people say, well, the government can't afford to do the UBI. Yeah, they can. And here's how. Take all your big pharma, all your big tech, all your big industry heads that are making all these trillions and trillions of dollars a year from us buying from them. And now they're under one umbrella and they're the ones that are paying massive taxes to the government. That was the deal that was made. Hey, you're going to be in charge of this forever and ever and ever always. You're going to make this amount of money. We get the rest. Sign right here. Or we'll bust your company up and put you out of business. What are you going to do? So when all these big, say there's five big entities. When they're all under one umbrella and they're paying, they're kicking back to the man up top, then the man up top's got all the UBI funds he needs because it's fiat currency anyway. And then they can pay everybody a basic income, and you're still expected to go out. If you want to work, then you can earn a little bit extra doing something if you have a skill. But you can literally rebuild the infrastructure from the top down instead of the bottom up, doing it that way by guaranteeing, hey, you're going to eat and you're going to make money every single day. And that's where it comes into you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yes. They have the system up. Sorry, Ghost.
You're fine. I was done.
They have the system set up, and I know a lot of us are working class people, so we may not know this, but they have the system set up through the EBT and the welfare system right now. Once this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, came out, they gave people a provider's card is what it is. And the way I see it is it's a system and a way for the UBI to be set up. Just like when the arm candy came out, they went through Section 8 first. Before it was even mainstreamed, they went through Section 8 housing through the whole entire country and gave people the option to get the shot. That's a side tangent. My point is, so you download an app for your welfare card, right? For your food stamps and all that other stuff. Now, when you download it, they transform the whole entire app, and now they have a provider's one that's right next to us. Just like China's system, where you got to put in your social security number, you got to put in all your medical information, you got to put in your EBT and your welfare, whatever you get from the state, cash and food. My point is, you guys can look it up, but it's called Providers, and it's through the new app. That right there, to me, outside looking in, would be the way that they're going to start the UBI. They want the UBI no matter what. Our money is worth shit. There's no way the world has the gold to back up any fucking fiat currency that we're handing out. There's just no way that we can back it up, period.
Well,
any country.
They've already been playing the mind game part of it for a long time. I mean, you can even get the QR code deal app or whatever on your phone. You can go into a restaurant and scan that QR code. It pulls up the menu for you, puts you in direct link to them. You just type in what you want. I want number 7 and, a large Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And what they've been doing is telling you, I mean, look how much easier this is. You ain't got to wait for a waiter to come and visit you and everything, man. You can just get right to it, and so they've been programming us this way, even so much with that, like you find something at the store, like Wally Worlds especially, and it doesn't have a price, or you're not sure. You walk over there, they got them little price checkers all over the place, and you just walk over and scan it, and it goes boop, it's $14.95, and you're like, so you don't have to wait and go find someone. You know what I'm saying? They're making it like everything else is a hassle. Look how much of a hassle it is to do this. Look at the hassle you got to do. Look how much easier we can make it.
Even before all this started, a couple of years ago, I believe it was a Whole Foods in California, started a pilot program. There weren't any employees working there except to stock the shelf. There were no cashiers, none of that. You walked in, got whatever you wanted, scanned it, and you
it's in
left.
Seattle, brother. But yeah, it is.
Seattle, and it automatically subtracts it from your thing. Now, here's the thing: if you got UBI and you have to go through your phone to do it, all right. So there is no more cash. There is no more money changing hands. That will be an expression of the past. You just swipe your thing, or you put your wrist with your chip underneath something, and it scans it. Now, that money gets pumped to you every week or every month, from the man upstairs. But here's the problem: if you piss the all great and powerful Oz off, he turns off your funds. He just flips a switch. There's no need to have, a judge and a court hearing to seize your assets. He just pushes a button, and you no longer get paid. So you behave and you be good, and you get your reward.
Oh, exactly. You didn't mow your front grass this week. No meat for your family.
There you go. That's why I believe. Yeah. That's why I believe
Behave
there's always been
mow that front grass. Maybe next week you can have a pound of hamburger.
Yes. That's why I believe there's always been one government, and they found out that Chinese system works. So they're going to try to spread it across the whole planet. That way, I mean, they already have everything in place over there. That's why it's going to spread.
Chinese system works for them.
Well, no. I agree. Yeah. I'm definitely not on board with it.
It works for them. The Chinese government. It doesn't work great for the Chinese people. That's the lesson we need to learn.
And it's not going to work good for us. I wasn't agreeing with it like that. I'm saying for them it works. So they found, like, if the way I see it, there was one government back in the day. They took all the countries. They put different systems into place. Like that, all this happened. They let generations go by. They figured out, okay, what system works? Communism, free for all, fucking monarchy, whatever it was. And then they finally found one that works. Technology caught up with it. Same reason why we're having a pandemic right now and not 10 years ago. They had to wait for the technology to catch up with it. Now the technology's here. Now they're able to put a fucking tag on each and every fucking one of us. They know where we're going. They know how it's going to work. I mean, they've been telling us for years how they're going to do it, from the movie Terminator to absolutely everything. And by the way, Amazon even has a better way instead of the QR codes, and they use your handprint or its palm print. They're actually paying you $10 to scan your palm at their stores. You don't have no bank card, no nothing. You're just scanning your hand, and they deduct the money. That's it.
Yep.
Well, what about this? What about when the big balloon goes up? Okay. And say now that this is a POS. It's worthless. It's garbage. It's a paperweight. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. There's nothing coming in through it. Can't even power it up. Whatever. Okay, so at that point in time, what are you going to do to walk up the road to the carrot farmer and say, hey, Mr. Carrot Farmer, can I have 5 carrots, please? You got no QR code. What do you got?
Open transactions between civilians will be illegal. If you do that, you're going to be on a barter system there.
They already did that with the gold back in the 30 or whatever. They already did that with the gold. They made it all illegal. You couldn't trade it. So they've already kind of got these things. They've worked on this stuff.
The only reason gold has a value, and diamonds have a value, is because people put value on it. Could have just as easily said, we could have just as easily put value on a cup of sand.
So
or bird shit. It doesn't. I mean, we assess the value.
You're funny.
So how would we destroy the black market? When North Shore was saying that, it made sense that Elon Musk is. But hold on. So if you think of Elon Musk coming in, mandatory implant of the Neuralink, which connects us with AI. Boom, no more phones. We're able to just swipe our hand wherever we want. The fucking computer shit's already in there, ready to be scanned. There would be the black market. That's how you would be able to buy your stuff from the carrot farmer up the street. Not saying that's what I want, because
right. But here's my
I'd rather
point.
die to get a chip in my head.
There won't be a carrot farmer up the street. Is my point. All farming will be controlled. You don't have to pay for food. You won't need to go up the street to get a carrot when you get carrots delivered to your house for free every week. That's part of the UBI. That's part of the UBI. If they keep you fed, you got free internet, you got free food, you're wired into everything, and you get a UBI so you can, you can pay your car payment, pay this, pay that, and plus pay your taxes back a little bit because that's never going to go away.
But
You know,
goes when things turn to shit, when this turns to shit, because it'll turn to shit. When it turns to shit, that's what I'm talking about. You know,
Yeah.
you're talking about when this is all good to go. I'm saying when this ain't good to go. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go out into the countryside and tell the guy who's got 5 acres over there and 3 acres over here, one of them's raising honeybees and the other one's growing carrots? Are you gonna say they can't meet at the fence and say, here, I got a jar of honey I just collected this morning. I'll swap you out for a bushel of carrots. Gonna be a sniper there going, you're both dead.
But you won't need to do that because you get everything for free. It's just like Star Trek. They don't
Not if
use
that's dead anymore.
Yeah.
How do you get your free shit if this is dead?
No, it'll come to your house. It's part of your UBI.
You'll be plugged in.
Just like Star
Yeah.
Trek. You'll be completely plugged in.
Hey, I got to go get ready for natives coming on at 8.
Yeah. Oh shit! It's time to get off. Yeah, man, we've been on here for over an hour already.
All right, Backwoods. Good to see you.
I got to run and grab a bite to eat real quick, and we're
All right,
gonna.
man.
I'm supposed to be on this panel, so
Cool. I'll see you over there.
Backwoods.
love you guys, man.
All right,
Peace out.
Backwoods. Have a good one.
All right.
Take her easy.
Yeah. On that note, I'm probably going to get off here and get me a bite to eat too because I don't want to miss Native's show.
I'm going to go ahead and jump down off your screen too. Leave you to close up there. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Okay, everyone in chat. Good panel too tonight, guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody go check
good
out
talking
Native.
with you, North Shore.
If I got any mods left in there, can y'all drop Native's link, please? If I have any mods left, I think I do. Somebody drop Native's link. But most everybody in here I see in the chat I've already seen it and Native, so I know they're pretty much members to him. But if I don't have any mods that can drop a link, then it's just Native and Devout Preppers. You can just search it in the search bar and go check him out. He'll have a good show tonight in about 18 minutes. But I want to thank everybody that was on the panel, Sean, Billy, you too, Getta. Appreciate you guys coming up here. I want to thank everybody in the chat and all the moderators and all the members for hanging out. Hey, Nikki. But yeah, I'm gonna get off here and grab something to eat. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, and we'll do a recap of the week, and then I'll see you guys, later on tonight over on Native's channel. So y'all have a good one, and I appreciate you hanging out with us. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.